a lot of things that go on around a wizarding school that aren't well known to the outside world, even to the parents. They're not in on some of the secrets, which for the most part is probably a good thing. It's kind of like that Muggle saying I heard once, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, I figure it's kind of the same thing about wizarding school. Sometimes it takes years before we figure out why something happened, and that's kind of hard to admit to a parent, that you're that out of control. About 3 days ago, I happened to pass a group of 7th year students standing in the hallway. One young man was bragging to his friends about a prank he had supposedly pulled off in his 2nd year. And it caught my attention because it sounded very familiar to me. And now obviously he thought the statute of limitations was over or something, he couldn't be punished for it. Or he possibly didn't see me standing there. But this is the story he was telling his friends. When I was a boy, I'd spend my summers down south of Yorkshire at my granny's isolated little farm. I'd practice spells all day long, fly my broom, free as a song. One day I happened to catch myself a garden gnome. Well, I shoved him way down in an old potions box, punched a couple of holes on top. When summer holidays were over, I snuck him back to school. Well, I was sitting way back in the great hall, showing him to my best friend Atticall, when that gnome got loose and went totally berserk. What happened next is hard to tell. Some thought it was heaven, others thought it was, well, the fact that something was among us was plain to see. As the sorting hat called out, "Hufflepuff," that gnome dove under Neville Longbottom's trouser cuff. Neville leaped to his feet and yelled, "Something's got a hold on me! Yow!" The day the gnome went berserk in the Hogwarts Great Hall, in the middle of that sorting ceremony, though no one knew quite where to look, we all pulled out our new school books and we were waving wands and shooting spells all over. Well, Neville hit the aisle, dancing and screaming. Some thought he was imperious, others thought he had a demon. Neville thought he had a weed eater loose in his Fruit of the Looms. He fell to his knees to plead and beg, and that gnome ran out of his trouser leg, unobserved, down to the other side of the room, all the way down to where the professors sat, including Dolores Umbridge in her ugly pink hat. Well, you should have seen the look in her eyes when that gnome jumped her garters and crossed her thighs. She leaped to her feet and yelled, "The ministry will hear of this." She talked of gossip, church dissension. The thing that got the most attention, she started talking about her love life. Then she started naming names. The day the gnome went berserk in the Hogwarts Great Hall, in the middle of that sorting ceremony, though no one knew quite where to look, we all pulled out our new school books and we were waving wands and shooting spells all over. Well, 7 of the meanest Slytherins got cursed and 400 house points were deducted that never got reversed. 15 volunteered for detention in the Forbidden Forest on the spot. And even without the proper certification, there were at least 46 disapparitions, 5 resulting in splinchings, which were painful to see. Now you've probably heard Beetle the Bard stories about how Merlin's magic helped Arthur ascend the throne. Oh, the wonders magic has wrought in this old world. Well, the one I'll remember to my dying day is how I helped put this school back on the straight and narrow way with a half-crazed Yorkshire garden gnome. The day the gnome went berserk in the Hogwarts Great Hall, in the middle of that sorting ceremony, though no one knew quite where to look, we all pulled out our new school books and we were waving wands and shooting spells all over. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that statute of limitations. I think there might be something that can still be done. He should be able to get away with this.